Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome back to the Golden Butterfly Film Studios channel. I hope that all of you brought in a wonderfully fun, safe, joyous 2024. I spent this past holiday season watching movies, getting caught up on work. And so this was one movie that particularly stuck out to me and is, been the buzz around the water cooler, the internet streets, social media, all of that. It is definitely very intricate, black comedy, psychological drama. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. It is definitely one of the most interesting, twisted movies of 2023. And yeah, it's written, directed, produced by Emerald Fennell. And before I watched this movie, I wasn't introduced to them, but congratulations to Emerald. And this movie is set in England in the early 2000s. The film follows an Oxford University student, Oliver, right, who becomes a little bit obsessed with a wealthy fellow student within his college, and he invites him to spend the summer at his eccentric, beautiful family estate named Saltburn. So the fact that Oliver's last name is Quick, it sounds a little bit like Oliver Twist, if you guys remember that. I thought that was a very interesting name for the main character, but he's struggling to fit in because of his, inexperience with being around the upper class, right? He's there on a scholarship. And in the UK, classism is a really big issue, right? It's identity marker, I should say, even more so than like race or religion. Class in the UK is particularly important. They put a lot of emphasis on it. But so Oliver, he becomes friends with Felix Catton, who is just, like gorgeous protagonist. He is really wealthy and very popular among his fellow classmates. And he's also very empathetic to Oliver's stories, who's a great storyteller, by the way, of his parents' substance abuse and mental health issues. So when Oliver he tells Felix that his father passed away, and he becomes, really distraught. Felix, offers him comfort, a listening ear. He's just a really good friend, and he invites him to, like I said, spend the summer with him at his family's estate. And you know what? I didn't realize that naming your house was a big thing. Like Will and Jada Smith, they named their house. But Saltburn is not your everyday California mansion, right? No, Saltburn is this beautiful, huge, dark castle, okay? And when Oliver gets to Saltburn, he's greeted by their butler. And then he's introduced to Felix's parents, Sir James and Lady Esbeth, his sister Venetia, and his American cousin Farley, who Oliver, essentially he met him while they were all at school at Oxford. So Oliver quickly wins over the affections of, everyone in the family, in Felix's family, with the exception of his cousin Farley, okay? And Farley and Oliver are pretty hostile to each other throughout the movie, right? They're always like throwing digs at each other. And so Felix and Oliver, even though they have their own rooms, they share a bathroom within this castle. And so Felix is essentially taking a bath, right? He wants some alone time. And Oliver is like standing there watching him. And then when Felix gets mad, he gets like upset. That's creepy. to have somebody watching you. Oliver claims, that nothing happened. The next day, Oliver moves and he puts his charms literally on Farley. Okay, um, asking him to behave. And if you watch the movie, you know that it's a very um, close knit. It's a very close knit scene. But by the next morning, the reason why Oliver does this, he has an ulterior motive, and he pretty much has Farley in his crosshairs. Okay, to say the least. This movie is so great because it has so many twists and turns, and it is it kept me on my toes. I have to say that. So as the summer ends, Lady Esbeth and Sir James, Lady Esbeth wants to throw Oliver a birthday party. And so, Oliver accepts. It's going to be a themed party. So Felix, for his birthday, he surprises Oliver and they take, a trip to visit Oliver's family. And Oliver, like, he's like freaking out, um, and I'll just say that the trip doesn't go exactly how, Oliver or Felix thought that it was going to go. So by the time they get back to Saltburn for the party, they're both pretty upset. And Felix, learns that there's a lot more to Oliver than he initially was told by Oliver, or that he, suspected, right? He thought that Oliver was just this kind of like Oliver Twist character, right? Like down and out, poor, unfortunate. And it turns out that Oliver is a lot more multifaceted than any of the characters had initially thought. And so, without giving any spoilers away, Oliver, visits Venetia, his sister, and they have a discussion while she's in the bathroom. And then he pretty much moves on to family member to family member. Um, but by the end, the ending for this movie was so spirited. It was, and yeah, it was unpredictable. That's what I loved about this movie. I loved the fact that, one, there were no spoilers given away in the trailer. And two, the unpredictability of what we thought was going to happen was a pleasant surprise. Because a lot of times, you know, either movies will tell you the whole plot through the trailer, which a lot of people hate that. And that's why I try really hard not to give me spoilers on my channel. But I do have love of movies and I want to talk about them. And I want you guys to see them, because this one, I think the cinematography was beautiful. The colors, it reminded me of, like a modern twist, similar to what Shonda Rhimes did with Bridgerton, right? They took an old Regency aged castle in Duke and Duchess and made it modern with like the music and things like that. This was, an old century castle, but it was very modern with, you know, um, the setting and the plot being in the mid 2000s. But yet, even though Felix was like class of 2006, his parents were still like Sir James and Lady Esbeth. I thought it was just brilliant. But yeah, the ending was not anything like I thought it would be at all. Um, I think that it was brilliant. I think that the acting was very well done. And I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are your thoughts if you've seen Saltburn? If you haven't, I would say, you'll probably definitely enjoy it. Make sure that there are no children anywhere in the vicinity when you watch it, because there are some scenes that are not suited for children or even young adults. Like you should be at a certain age and maturity to really enjoy it. But yeah, this was definitely a psychological thriller, and the ending was very spirited. I'll leave it at that. So, with that being said, you guys, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Happy New Year again. I hope that all of you are warm, safe, dry, and enjoying movies. And I will bring you the next, recap and review in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.